When you walk into a Burlington, you're walking into amazing prices and great gifts. That's main character energy. Because at Burlington, the holiday savings aren't the only things turning heads. Discover quality finds and perfect presents for everyone on your list, even those who are hard to shop for. Toys and jewelry to new beauty brands and styles, these gifts go seamlessly from our stores to under your tree. Seriously, with these savings, why shop anywhere else?
Burlington deals, brands, wow.
Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Milo.
There's no Milo here.
Who picked up my son from school?
Streaming only on Peacock.
I'm gonna need the name of everyone that could have a connection.
You don't understand. It was just the 5 of us.
So this was all planned.
What are you gonna do? I will do whatever it takes to get my son back.
I honestly didn't see this coming. These nice people killing each other.
All Her Fault, a new series streaming now only on Peacock.
This is Optimal Health Daily. Can you overdose on happiness? By Emma Hogan of lesmills.com. And I'm Dr. Neil Malik. Hey there, happy Saturday. Thank you so much for being here and welcome back to Optimal Health Daily, where I act as your narrator of the best health and fitness blogs, all for free. And with that, let's get right to today's post and start optimizing your life. Can you overdose on happiness? By Emma Hogan of lesmills.com. Serotonin and dopamine are often bundled together as a duo of powerful neurotransmitters that spark positive emotion. But to the surprise of many, dopamine and serotonin do not go hand in hand. Pediatric endocrinologist Robert Lustig says the key to this lies in the fact that dopamine and serotonin are two different biochemicals, two different neurotransmitters in two different areas of the brain. Serotonin is associated with feelings of happiness, focus, and calm. Dopamine is more aligned to feelings of reward and motivation. When you get a quick dopamine hit, it creates a rush of pleasure. It feels good. But it doesn't last long, which is where issues can start to arise. Having high doses of dopamine concentrated in specific areas of the brain is linked to being overly competitive, overly aggressive, and having a lack of impulse control. It's been associated with ADHD, binge eating, and addiction, as well as mental health conditions and mood disorders. Dopamine is what is called an excitatory neurotransmitter, according to Lustig, who explains that neurons like to be tickled, but they don't like to be bludgeoned. And if they are overstimulated, it can cause neuronal cell death. When a neuron dies, the neuron next to it will trigger a self-defense mechanism to downregulate the receptors for dopamine so that it too won't die. And as a result, you get a rush, but the next time you have fewer receptors, so you need a bigger hit to get the same rush. This goes on until even a huge hit has no effect. That's called tolerance. And when the neurons start to die, that's called addiction, according to Lustig. Serotonin does not behave this way because it's an inhibitor. According to Lustig, quote, "It doesn't cause the next nerve to fire. It causes the next neuron to stay silent. You can't overdose on happiness." End quote. However, there is one thing that can downregulate serotonin, and that thing is dopamine. Quote, "So the more pleasure you seek, the more unhappy you get." End quote. The complex relationship between serotonin and dopamine is why addiction and depression are different sides of the same coin. Lustig says, quote, "Addiction is from too much dopamine driving down the receptor, and then the neurons die. Depression is serotonin deficiency, too little serotonin, which has been driven by dopamine." End quote. The difference between pleasure and happiness. Being able to identify the difference between happiness and pleasure is key to enjoying a life of long-term health and well-being. Pleasure is short-lived, visceral, can be experienced alone, and can be caused by substances or behaviors. Happiness is long-lived, ethereal, usually social, and cannot be had from substances or behaviors. Curbing dopamine-driven compulsiveness. Drugs, mobile phones, social media, fast food, gambling, and even shopping all have a similar short-term but highly compulsive effect on human behavior. They spark that rush of dopamine. Exercise also stimulates this same effect, but in most cases, a compulsion to do more exercise can be a good thing. The fast food industry is a great example of companies taking advantage of the little hitch in our biochemistry and tapping into the neural science of our brains. These companies have become adept at peddling substances like added sugars that directly affect the reward center of the brain. The fact that fast food and soft drinks are price inelastic, meaning even when prices rise, demand stays the same, is a sign addiction is at play, says Lustig. Quote, "We have the data, we have the neuroscience, we have the imaging studies, we have the biochemistry to demonstrate how the food industry has basically doctored our food supply so as to make it absolutely irresistible, and in the process, we have gotten sick." End quote. Compounding the problem, a chemical in the gut needed to make serotonin, called tryptophan, is not found in processed food. Tryptophan is the rarest amino acid in our diet, and it's found in eggs, fish, and some poultry. And each of these three foods are rare in processed food. Quote, "People eating a highly processed food diet probably are not even getting the precursor to make the serotonin in the first place, so that's a great reason for unhappiness." End quote. Lustig says he has a simple, evidence-based, 4-step process to combat this problem. To tamp down the dopamine and up the serotonin, focus on the 4 C's. The 4 C's of happiness. 1. Connect. Catch up with a friend, spend time with your loved ones, and take time to connect with yourself. Practice your religion or spiritual practice if that's your thing. Spending time with animals is also restorative. Lustig has a hypothesis that workplace pets, when done properly, may spark higher serotonin levels across the team, which boosts individual morale and team cohesion. 2. Contribute. Make time to contribute to something bigger than yourself. Look for opportunities to use your time and energy to make the world a better place. 3. Cope. Take action to look after your body, get sufficient sleep, calm your mind with mindful activities like meditation and yoga, and move your body with regular exercise. And 4. Cook. Eat a well-balanced, healthy diet, and importantly, limit the foods and additives that degrade your body and mind. You just listened to the post titled, "Can You Overdose on Happiness?" by Emma Hogan of lesmills.com, and I'll be right back with my commentary. Right now, there's a talented person out there who could take your company to the next level. Do you want to hope they see your job post before your competitors? Or do you want to match with them with Indeed sponsored jobs? Stop struggling to get your job post even seen on other sites. Give your job the best chance to be seen with Indeed sponsored jobs. When I was looking to hire, it was so slow and overwhelming. I wish I had used Indeed. Spend more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes. Less stress, less time, more results now with Indeed sponsored jobs. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/health. Just go to Indeed.com/health right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/health. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Do it the right way with Indeed.
Chronic spontaneous urticaria, or chronic hives with no known cause. It's so unpredictable. It's like playing pinball. Itchy red bumps start on my arm, then my back, sometimes my legs. Hives come out of nowhere, and it comes and goes. But I just found out about a treatment option at treatmyhives.com. Take that, chronic hives. Learn more at treatmyhives.com.
Dr. Neil here for my commentary. Let's go back to this idea of processed foods hacking our brains. I was reading a published study on the effects of various foods and how the body and brain respond to each. What's probably not surprising is that fruits and vegetables do not seem to stimulate the reward centers in our brain, meaning they don't trigger that rush of dopamine that today's author Emma Hogan described. Instead, foods high in added sugar, fat, and salt tend to give us that dopamine hit. And of course, which foods tend to be high in added sugar, fat, and salt? Well, processed foods, of course. So, back to the published study I mentioned, the author went on to say that Cheetos, a brand of snack food popular here in the US, is like the perfect food for a dopamine hit. Now, let me be clear, it's not a perfect food for our overall health and wellness, but it's perfect in the sense it triggers pure pleasure. Cheetos have been studied, and what they found is first, it melts in the mouth really quickly. In turn, the brain thinks that there's no calories in that Cheeto, so it feels like you can just keep eating them. Because of this, we may end up craving more food. And because Cheetos are high in fat and salt and carbohydrate, it's the perfect dopamine hit for the brain. Now, I realize this may have sounded like a convincing reason to go out and buy some Cheetos, but I share this information so we can be smarter consumers. If we know a food may trigger overeating, maybe it's best we limit ourselves to just one serving. Or, if it becomes a real issue for us, maybe we avoid it altogether. All right, that'll do it for today. I hope you're having a great weekend if you're listening in real time, and I'll see you back here tomorrow as usual, where your optimal life awaits.